This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt stuck, whether it's a major life transition, a dark night of the soul, or just staying small out of fear. If you've ever struggled to move forward, if you're repeating unhealthy patterns in relationships, or you have a black belt in beating yourself up, you were meant for more, and this podcast is for you. We'll get real, we'll get vulnerable, we'll probably cuss a little bit, and we'll get to the root of it all, your self-worth. With every step, you'll find the courage to rise. Where in your life do you need to give yourself permission? Permission to take a step back, permission to relax, permission to take care of yourself. We are a society that has subscribed to this horrible script that it's normal to be burnt out and to be so stressed out that nothing in your life is working anymore. And that we wear burnout like a badge of honor. And especially in corporate America, unfortunately, it tends to perpetuate that concept that if you're not working yourself to the bone, or if you're not walking around as a constant stressed out mess, then somehow you're not taking your job seriously enough. Layer onto that oftentimes we carry guilt within us that we're not doing enough. We carry guilt that we're not doing enough for our families, for our careers, for our jobs, whatever it is. And it's not to say that there are not very real pressures and very honest realities out there about, we have to earn a living, we have bills to pay, we want to take care of our family, we want to spend time with people, we want to grow our career, we want to, have healthy bodies and healthy lives. However, what I want to call your attention to today is this idea of giving yourself permission to slow down so that you can speed up. And where we see this the most and where it registers the most is in our bodies. Because think about it. How often do you think about the amount of stress and pressure that you put your body under? You get up early, you take care of your kids, or you go to work, you work a long day, you come back, you do all the things in your life. Maybe you take time to take care of your body, maybe you don't. Maybe you go to bed really late after having a couple too many glasses of wine, or a couple too many beers, or a couple too many drinks. You get up the next morning, you do it all over again. And you have too much caffeine, now hold on here, because I'm not knocking coffee, because I love coffee. It's one of my favorite food groups. But what I'm saying is, if all you're running on is caffeine, alcohol, and stress, something ain't working in your life and it's not going to last. Because we don't pay attention to our bodies and all the things that our bodies are doing to support us until it stops working, until we get sick, until we get diagnosed with something. We don't pay attention until it's not there for us anymore. And when we put ourselves under that level of stress and demand so much of ourselves without allowing ourselves to take a break, to take a breath, to rest and rejuvenate, we're just asking for trouble down the line. And the thing is that sometimes when we do stop and take a break, if you're really, really feeling tired and run down, and maybe you do have a lot going on in your life, a lot of us do, right? And you're feeling really tired and run down and go, I don't have time to stop. I don't have time to rest. I don't have time to rest. And then maybe you do something like you do something that was really fun for yourself, or you say yes to going to something that maybe wasn't in your plan, or you take an afternoon and lay on the couch and binge watch Netflix for an afternoon. And then you beat the shit out of yourself. I shouldn't have done that. I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to stop. Oh my God. And you're literally robbing yourself of the real relaxation because that guilt becomes an energetic downer. Now, again, if you're laying on the couch all day, every day watching Netflix, that's a different thing. But if you're in a place where you have a lot going on in your life, you're balancing a lot, maybe it's a time of your life where there's more stress than normal, or there's something intense that's happening at work, or Maybe you're going through a divorce or you're going through something in your life and you have a lot on your plate with a business, with relationships, with family, with friends, whatever. And maybe you're dealing with a lot. Do you want to know the time that you need to rest and find the space for rejuvenation the most? During those times. Because otherwise, you're going to be running on fumes and you will have nothing left to give in those situations. And that's how we get burnt out, stressed out, when we're so depleted that we don't have anything left within us. And then we react to things from our lizard brain oftentimes, which is when we're not in good decision-making mode. We're not being compassionate and thoughtful, and we're reacting rather than responding. And then that just perpetuates, right? And we just feel worse about ourselves. And it keeps us in this perpetual cycle of then beating ourselves up because maybe we were really tired and stressed and burned out and we snapped at somebody. And then we beat ourselves up for that. And then we feel like we can never, ever get ahead. Can't ever get rested. I can't ever rejuvenate. And partly it's because if you do take the time to stop or to do something to fill yourself up, you're shaming yourself for doing that. So you're actually taking all the good benefits away from it. So what would happen if you just gave yourself permission to take a couple hours for yourself? It doesn't matter how much is on your to-do list, how much is going on. The fact is you're going to be more productive. You'll have more brain power and more energy for creative problem solving if you take a break, and take a real break. Find something that gets you out of your head, that gets you out of that snaps you out of that as a pattern interrupt. If you need to color, if you need to dance, if you need to go for a walk in the park and just look at nature, be in nature, find something that's going to get you out of that space. That's going to rejuvenate you. This is when you hear people talk about filling your own cup. That's what it is, of giving to yourself, because you cannot give what you don't have within you. And if you're not giving yourself permission to rest and fill yourself up, then you might be working long hours, you might be doing these things, but you're not being productive. You would be much better served to take time away, to take a long weekend, to turn the email off on your phone, to put up the out of office and completely disconnect, because that's going to reset your system. It's going to give you back creative brain functioning. And then when you go in on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, whatever's going on, you're going to be able to approach it with a fresh set of eyes. You're going to see a different perspective. You're going to be responding rather than reacting to the situation. You'll have more energy to deal with whatever else is going on in your life because you've taken the time to fill yourself up and to resource yourself. Think about it this way. Most of you listening to this probably own a car, or you've had some experience with a car. What happens if you don't do maintenance on your car? If you have a car, you drive it every day, you drive it long, put a lot of miles on it, but you keep saying, I don't have time to take it in to get the oil changed. I don't have time to get the tires checked. I don't have time to do, whatever, alignment, balance. I don't have time for this. I don't have time to take the car in. I don't have time to get the oil changed. Guess what's going to happen? One of many, many things, one of which being you'll do permanent damage to the car. Your engine could explode. It could stall out on you. All these things could happen that are going to cause you bigger problems down the road. Rather than taking a couple hours to take the car in, get the maintenance done. Get the regular maintenance done so that it runs as it's supposed to, and it's going to be there when you need it. And the same is true for you. It's true for your body. It's true for your mental capacity. It's true for your emotional health and your emotional ability to show up. If you take care of yourself on a regular basis, you are going to be better able to show up in your life. You're going to be resourced to show up for whatever happens. There's sort of this false belief out there that, I'll slow down when, right? Or I'll take a break when. And that's when we get into this cycle of then all of a sudden you're at the end of your life looking back and you've missed it all. And you've missed it because you were just waiting for the next thing to be able to catch up, or you were waiting until this project was over, or waiting until the kid got out of school, or waiting until whatever, right? Waiting until. And there is no until. There might be cycles in your life that are more challenging, that require more of you. There are ebbs and flows and periods of challenge and periods of grace. But this is it, guys. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. And so if you find yourself in that place of burnout, of stress, of constantly feeling like you're running on fumes, that you have so much that you're balancing and so much that you're doing, you can stay in that story. And a lot of people do. But let's break that cycle. Again, it doesn't mean that you don't have things that are going on in your life. It doesn't mean that you don't want to look at finding ways to create balance and be able to accomplish the things that are going on. But it means that you take the time to take care of yourself, because there is only one you, and you are the resource. And I tell people this all the time, and when I used to be a sales manager, I would tell my people this too, because I believe very strongly in hiring good, hardworking, creative thinking problem solvers, and then giving them the ability to do their job. And when you hire people like that, they tend to be type A personalities who are prone to working themselves into the ground. And I used to tell them, and I think managers are afraid to tell their people this sometimes, I used to tell them, hey, listen, we're not trafficking in live human organs here. And no one's going to die if this doesn't happen immediately. They might think that they will, but let's keep things in perspective. And by the way, if you were to get hit by a bus tomorrow, the company would have the job posted within a matter of weeks, right? And this is not to say, I'm very clear about this, this is not an excuse to say that you shouldn't show up, that you shouldn't do your job, that you shouldn't give your all as the integrity that you have and the work ethic that you have. But what I'm saying is keep it in perspective, because you are the resource. And if you are working yourself to the bone, you're not actually being any good to anybody. You're really no good to whatever projects and things that you're working on. You're certainly no good to yourself. You're no good to your family and to other people in your life, because you're such a freaking stressed out mess. And so let's think about it this way. If you took the 20 minutes a day to silence your phone, to get rid of the distractions, and to just sit in silent meditation, or to go outside for a walk without your phone dinging, without texts coming in, without email coming in, to just sit and drink a cup of coffee. Just sit for 20 minutes and just breathe in the aroma of the coffee. Feel the heat of the mug on your hands. Explore with your eyes whatever is going on around you. Really be in your senses and really present in the moment, and slow down your body. You are going to be so much better able to deal with whatever else is ahead of you. That doesn't mean you might not walk back into the office and somebody will run up to you and say, oh my God, X, Y, and Z happened and we need to deal with it. And then you can take a breath and go, okay, let's do this, because you've had a break. You've given yourself that time, that space to rejuvenate, to reconnect to yourself. You are the resource, and you owe it to yourself first and foremost, and to everyone else in your life, to be operating at your best, within the best of your ability, to empower yourself, to resource yourself so that you can show up. Because if you're a burnt out, stressed out, angry, bitter mess, you are no good to anyone. You're not doing anyone else any favors, and you're creating a lot of unnecessary suffering in your life. Drop the guilt for taking care of yourself. It's like they tell you on the airplane, if the oxygen masks drop, put your mask on first, and then put the mask on your child. And why do they tell you that? They tell you that because you're not going to be any good to anyone if you can't breathe. You're not going to be able to be there to help your child, to calm your child, to keep them safe, to protect them through whatever's happening if you can't breathe yourself. And so that's why they tell you those things, to put your mask on first. And more than that, give yourself the permission that that's okay. Because otherwise you will just use it as another way to beat yourself up. So if you have a massage booked, or you have if you're a mom and you have a fun breakfast date with a girlfriend and, you're getting a babysitter, then enjoy it. Enjoy it. If who've been running really hard, you're super freaking tired, and some Sunday afternoon, it's cold and snowy outside, and you say, you know what? I have a lot of things I could get done this afternoon and that need to get done this afternoon, but you know what? I am so freaking tired right now. I'm going to lay on the couch and I'm going to binge watch whatever your favorite show is, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to let that be okay. And if that is something that really fills you up and that you really get a lot of enjoyment out of it, then set that time period and give yourself that space to do it. I'm not talking about avoiding responsibility. I'm not talking about falling into unhealthy coping patterns or, creating patterns where we're not doing anything but laying on the couch, right? What I'm saying is, if that's something that really you find some relaxation in, give yourself permission to have that couple hour period to just do that and to enjoy it. Enjoy every bit of it. Think about it this way then. If the couch analogy doesn't resonate with you, think about it this way. Let's say that you eat a really healthy diet most of the time, and you go out to a restaurant and there's some freaking amazingly decadent dessert that you oh my God, you can't pass it up, right? Once in a lifetime experience, whatever. And you order it and you eat it and you enjoy every single bite of it. And then you go back to your healthy life. You go back to eating healthy 85-90% of the time. Because otherwise what happens is you could order that dessert, and instead of experiencing it and instead of enjoying it for all of the awesome flavors and the experience and the smells and the tastes and the textures, you could beat yourself up and go, oh, I'm going to have to spend 6 hours on a treadmill tomorrow. Or, oh my God, I'm being so bad. If you shame yourself, then what's the fucking point of eating the dessert? Because you're taking all the joy and all the pleasure away from it anyway, so you might as well not eat it. This is my point, is whatever we're doing, let's be present to it. Because if you're present to the relaxation, if you're giving yourself permission to fill yourself up again and not shoulding and not guilting yourself over it, then you're gonna reap the benefits from that. Drop the shame, drop the guilt, drop the stories, and remember, you are the resource. There is only one of you. There's only one of you in your life. And you owe it to yourself, first and foremost to yourself, to be the very best version of you. And the best version of you means that you are taking care of yourself so that you can be the best mom, the best worker, the best business owner, the best partner, the best human, right? So give yourself permission to take care of yourself first and foremost. And remember that it's not only okay, but it's critical sometimes to slow down so you can speed up. Don't let your body, don't let your emotions, don't let yourself, don't let your precious human become that car where the engine explodes or it's broken down on the side of the highway because you didn't take the time to stop and do the maintenance. You are worth it. You are so worth it. So give yourself permission to slow down so you can speed up. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Courage to Rise podcast. Visit my website, couragetorise.com, for more information on one-on-one coaching, group coaching programs, and other upcoming events. Remember, life's too short not to sparkle. Sparkle on.